Our team is Team CM, and today I'll be bringing you a new application for IVLE. In the past year, Google has been making its transition to a very design-centric operating system. In the past, there was no design guidelines, there was no user interface guidelines for Google Androids. You have to restart.
That's okay.
It's okay.
There have been their operating system UI experience. So today we will be unveiling a new app based entirely on these user interface guidelines. Okay, our application makes use of
So sorry.
our application makes use of Android Ice Cream Sandwich version 4.0's features APIs extensively, as you will see later. Okay. Our app is called My IVLE, and my team consists of two of us. She's focused on designing the application, the user experience, and I'm focusing on doing the coding. Okay, the first thing we like to talk about for IVLE and IVLE application is the initial user experience. So when the user first opens our application, the sign up page will appear, and our entire account system in our application uses the Android Accounts Manager. This means that we are able to obtain multiple account support. We are also able to ensure that our sync runs optimally without impacting battery life, because the Android Accounts Manager runs based on how much battery you have, when is your last sync, and other device characteristics. So by making use of this, we can achieve optimal user experience for an IVLE client for Androids. Should I use yours? Okay. Yeah, I'm going to put this in a demonstration. Let's your power on. Right. Okay, so this is our app. At the very start, you'll see the login screen. Oops. Okay, just type the password for a moment. Yep, so signing in. Oops. Yeah, because recently the password changed for password expired. Yeah, okay. You first skip that. But after the account is added, you'll automatically sync with IVLE servers at predetermined intervals. So it's pretty much worry-free. Your announcements, your modules, your lectures, and everything else gets downloaded onto a local database. And this also means that our application has offline access for IVLE.
Okay, once the modules have been synced, this is the home page. This is the home page. So this is what the users will see once they enter the page. The list of modules are all there, and then you can click on the stuff. And then there's also a search function at the top right hand corner, which allows you to search for all the listed NUS modules. So you can view the information for the modules, but it's subject to the permission settings. And there's also a sync function if you want to sync it manually, like instant update, instead of waiting for the auto sync. Oh, and the auto sync, you can set timing for it, so you can sync it like maybe every 2 days or every 3 days, depending on your preference. Okay, this is the settings page. It allows you, the main feature here is to allow you to add extra accounts. So instead of just adding your own account. Maybe if you want to add your friend's account, it's also possible in case like they don't have this app. So this is a convenience feature we added in. And there's also a feature which allows you to choose if you want to download the webcast over 3G or Wi-Fi. As we all know now, Singtel, they dropped the data limit to 2 gigs. So sometimes downloading over 3G is not such a good idea, especially if you have like webcasts every week. Yep.
Sorry, so you can actually download and watch it offline later? Or
Yes, it saves on your phone. And it, yeah.
For the webcast.
Yes.
How about your lecture notes?
Lecture notes is available also. Yeah, we'll cover it later. Okay. Then this is the announcements tab, the information tab. Once you click on the module, it will bring you to this page. It shows all the basic information which you can access on IVLE, just that this is on the mobile. Also, it is zoomable for the when you click on the things there. So okay. You can zoom in and out for easier reading.
It's to be noted that all this data that's up there is pulled from the module description from via the IVLE API. Okay. Okay. Next announcements. Okay. For our announcements, we actually pull down all the announcements for offline access as well. As you can see, we extensively use proper UI guidelines. The views are all swipeable. You can swipe between the panes. Yeah. And this is our announcements view. That's the posting date, the short description, as well as the title. So for all the announcements, you can actually tap on one to view the full announcement. And one cool feature is that the ability to share announcements to your friends. So basically, if you see one announcement and then you realize it could be of note to another friend, you could tap share. And you could choose any of Android's built-in sharing intents. So basically, you can share to Twitter, you can share to WhatsApp, you can translate. If the message is, let's say you attend a foreign language module and some lecturer decides to post everything in a foreign language, you can translate that into English as well.
Can you see one example?
Yeah, okay. We try Twitter. Yeah, so it is linked to Twitter. If you have the app installed, you can share it over Twitter. And the next thing is we are going to show one very cool feature for, as an effect of this sharing function. You can share this using a barcode. Yeah, so that's the QR code that's being generated. And if your friend wants to have it, can open a QR code scanner and yeah, the entire announcement will be transmitted using the QR code. Yeah, so that's the exact text. And unfortunately, my phone doesn't have NFC because this also works over NFC.
Okay, the next tab is actually the lecturers tab, because IVLE allows you to view all the lectures available for that module. So we added that feature in, and then you can see all the lectures, as well as when you click on the icon for a lecturer, you can see the email function and the add to contacts function. So when you click on the email function, it automatically brings you to the email app that you're using. And then the email of the professor, the lecturer, will be filled in for you.
Okay, I need to search for a module which has lecturers in it. There you see among our test modules, we have one of our lecturers listed as IVLE Webmaster. When I tap on the icon, I can
you can choose to send the email or add to the contacts. Yep, then you can choose which app you want to use. and it fills in the email address accordingly. Then there's also the add to contacts function. It will just send it straight to the phone book.
Right. This is one of the features that we have implemented based on overwhelming demand from students, because I have one friend who stays in Pasir Ris, and she unfortunately doesn't have accommodation in hall residence. So every day she has to travel back and forth, spend about 2 hours on the MRT, and more often than not, she's been doing nothing. So with this feature in place, he or she can review the webcast while returning home. Okay, the webcasts are grouped based on the semesters, because some of the webcasts they span on multiple semesters. Yeah, so the entire video is actually seekable, but yeah, this streaming over 3G network not be that fast.
Is it saved to SD or to onboard memory?
This was saved to the SD card.
And does it sync automatically, or do you have to tell it to sync or to store offline?
So far you have to tell it to store offline. So for every webcast, you have to go into the webcast and click the save button.
So what they're doing here is basically streaming the video
Yes, this is
down onto
streaming
your
the
phone,
video.
right? And then you have to click on the save button.
Yeah, so yeah, it's streaming now.
Right.
But you notice there's a save button at the top. Just tap on it. Yeah, so the webcast has been queued for download, and it will show up in the notification area.
How big are webcasts usually?
The webcast, based on the test webcast, is actually about 60 megabytes, 60 to 70. So
It's not bad.
yeah, over the Wi-Fi network may be a better option. Yeah, after you save the webcast, it's actually viewable in the gallery, in the local gallery as well. Check if it's there. I have too many videos.
It's still saving.
Yeah, but I remember downloading it once before. Okay, then. Okay. Yeah, I did not save it previously, but it will show up in the gallery as well.
It's okay, we believe you.
You can download and try it yourself.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay, our next feature is the web links. IVLE also has this function where the lecturers can post all the useful links. For like maybe example, if they want you to have read certain articles from certain websites, they will post the links here, and then you can just click on them, and you will actually go straight to the website using the browser on your phone. Yeah, then you can select which browser you want.
Okay, this is the other function which is highly requested, which is the ability to download lecture notes and files from the work bin. Yeah, so this is the test work bin that's provided to us, and the interface is divided into two tabs, one for folders and one for files. Yeah, go to lecture notes. Yeah, let's go to files. Yeah, so let's just try downloading one of the PDFs. I think you should cancel the webcast download. Oh wow. What?
So you were saying earlier that this stuff in the work bin can be synced offline as well?
The stuff in the work bin can be synced offline as well.
Okay. So I can set it to sync, and then when I want to view it, I just click on it, and I don't have internet connectivity. Or
Yes,
yeah,
correct. It's actually not. It's actually more of a cache rather than a automatic sync implementation. So basically, if you open that file before, it will be available on the device. It's somewhat similar to the Dropbox implementation. Because
if I didn't
Openix-
open it before, I can't expect to see the notes.
Offline.
Yeah, offline.
Oh,
I mean, for example, I'm going for a lecture in the morning, and before the lecture, I want to have a look at the notes, and I'm on the bus. I don't have any connectivity or anything like that. Can I just click on it and view it, or can I only view it, like, say, after on my way home when I had actually opened the notes?
if you have opened that particular lecture note before, then you'll be available offline.
Okay.
Yeah, but the listing is always there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you must have opened it before to save it offline.
Yes, correct.
So what does the syncing thing do then?
The sync it works for announcements. It works for the listing. Because from what we see, for work beans and webcasts, right, the files are usually of certain sizes. There are some lectures upload PowerPoints in like 2-digit megabytes. So if it's automatically synced, we will incur quite a lot of bandwidth.
Okay.
Okay, one of the features we did not manage to implement given our limited manpower and also exploration on new APIs is the My Agenda API. Because we have actually requested the timetable data, but the timetable data was insufficient for us to test out this feature. But the timetable sync API is actually in already. It's actually inside the source code. It's just that we haven't exposed it. But this will provide a similar view to the agenda feature in the calendar. And you can sync your lecture time slots with the Google Calendar. Next. Yeah. So our app, that's all for our app. But our application is done in the spirit of open source. So our source code is available online. We have made our repository public. Because from what we've seen in the previous years, like last year there was a IVRE client application for Android as well. But unfortunately it has been left unmaintained because the source is closed, nobody's going to update it. So in the spirit of open source, we are opening the repository so that in the future, if there are any changes to the API, any changes to the design guidelines, we are able to continually update the application. We have also open sourced the library that's used for accessing IVRE. So we developed a Java library that people can reuse for their other applications. Yeah, that's it.
It's only available on Android, right?
Yeah, so far only available on Android.
Just 4.0? and
4.0.
Uh,
I actually attempted to port it to.
It works on Gingerbread as well.
Oh, it does?
Yeah, but this app is native to Ice Cream Sandwich.
So basically, the app looks the same on Gingerbread as it does on Ice Cream Sandwich. It doesn't attempt to follow any Gingerbread style guidelines.
Okay.
Regarding playbook support, we have tried to port it to the Android player, but unfortunately, the API wasn't supported. The API level wasn't supported. Yeah, we also have Android tablet support, something that we stopped previously. So basically, on the Android tablet, you can actually have a multi-pane UI. The UI adapts automatically based on your screen orientation. I think it's not connected to Wi-Fi. Yeah. So that's the experience on the tablet.
I mean, I'll say you guys have definitely implemented a couple of features that are really unique that others have not been able to implement. We've heard a lot of IVLE ideas, and I think the offline webcast viewing is really big. I haven't seen that one yet, so that's pretty unique. And if you guys do implement the Google Calendar sync, that will also be really unique features that sounds like really useful. And it looks good. I don't really have a lot of. I think you actually answered most of my questions during your presentation. One thing I would say in general, and it may not be relevant here because I think there's probably a fair assumption that there's some level of knowledge already about IVLE and the usefulness of a mobile app for IVLE. But I would say in general, it's a good idea to take a user-centric approach to your presentations and not a tech-centric approach. So your presentation is all about technology and not so much on how your intended users might use your technology. And so it was more of a software engineering talk than it was a user problem-solving, use case scenarios talk. So just general advice in that regard. But from the product perspective, I mean, it looks really good.
Thank you.
I liked it too, but I think, as Ben has mentioned, because you went through the features rather than use cases, it was a bit hit and miss. You've got some really useful features that nobody else does, but you've also got some features that don't really seem all that relevant. For example, sharing by 12 different methods. I think if you were to do any improvements, it would be good if you looked at offline syncing of the videos and the notes, possibly through Wi-Fi only, so it's convenient for the users. I think that would really make it stand out from all the other IVLE applications, including the main IVLE app, which has to be used online. Otherwise, it works, it looks good, it follows the UI guidelines. It's a good effort.
Thank you.
Oh, what about forum support?
Forum supports are not equal.
Is that something you guys are thinking about?
Yes, it's plan edition.
Cool. Wow, you've left us pretty quiet, which I think is really good. So take it as a good sign.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.